Notice verses 14 and 15. And Paul more or less tosses these in somewhat out of context. But when you're an apostle, you can do those things. Indeed, when Gentiles, not the Gentiles, when Gentiles who do not have the law do by nature things required by the law, they are a law for themselves, even though they do not have the law, since they show that the requirements of the law are written on their hearts, their consciences also bearing witness, and their thoughts now accusing, now even defending them. This passage is misunderstood by some to teach that Gentiles can be saved by what they do. The text is not saying that. It says that when Gentiles who don't have the law, when Gentiles, not the Gentiles, when some Gentiles who don't have the law do by nature things, some things, that the law demands, it shows that they have another law that is written on their hearts, and their thoughts accuse them and sometimes excuse them. It doesn't say that they're going to be saved because of what they did, or else it would be teaching righteousness by works. The text is saying that even the Gentiles cannot come before the throne of God and say, I did not have an opportunity, because God has even written the law of God upon their own hearts. And the Bible says that those who are in the law and break the law will perish in the law, like the professing people of God. And those who did not have the law of God and sin will perish outside the law. This text, so far, all of these texts are telling us that the human race is lost and doomed and damned. All of us. None righteous. No righteous church members. No righteous people in the world. Nobody is ready for the judgment. And Paul tells us these things so that we will flee like a bird to the mountain of the grace of God. And I say it to you again today, don't stand before God in your own righteousness. Don't come before God and insult Him by saying, I have kept the law of God and I am a perfect man. None of us are righteous. We are all condemned, but thank God there is mercy and there is grace. And that is the gospel. But my friend, many of us have never come to God. Many of us have never gone to the gospel because we don't feel our need. We think we're good enough. That's the reason. Verse 17 and onwards. How a person could ever be self-righteous after this chapter is beyond me.